Good morning, traders. Well, it is an absolute bloodbath out there, but is it as bad as it seems? We're going to talk about that in today's video. All right, guys. So over the weekend, I just put out a post. Our public portfolio was absolutely wrecked. I mean, we were down, stopped out of 14 out of 21 positions, and our public portfolio is down over 30% uh, just in the last week, just over the last weekend. We really got wrecked. Those of us who have been in crypto for a while know that this is par for the course. This is just the drill, all right? And sometimes this happens. In fact, you will note that in a few of my past videos, I explained that it is a possibility that we do go down and test the neckline that I will show you on Bitcoin in just a minute uh, at 48,400. Pretty much we can consider that to have been tested, though there still may be some more selling to ensue this week. And overall, I want to show you from a macro view. We're going to take a look at the SPY for that. That this is we're 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 overreacting right now, and I'm going to start by showing you a picture of the VIX. All right, so here is our VIX. Let's zoom out to the weekly. You can see we haven't been really at this level. We were up over, when I looked, 135%, and we haven't been at this level for over 3.5 years. Let's zoom back into the daily. People are really freaking out, and I think this is because there is some level of in the consciousness that says we are headed towards a big recession, possibly depression. I've been talking about it for what, 3 years now? And yes, that is coming. I don't think that this is it yet. I don't think we start to sink into recession, depression till after the US political charade unravels and completes. We have much to go, and we know that politics in the US is a complete cluster. Uh, Everybody is about money, everybody is about power. Uh, Everybody in politics, I mean, the majority of politicians are have a very low level of consciousness. Uh, they only care about themselves. They don't give one iota about you. So that means that they're going to use whatever tools are at their disposal. I suppose I should zoom back out here so you can see my face, my beautiful face, and this flowing mustache. They're going to use whatever tools possible for their advantage, especially those that are already in power. All right. This means they may put some pressure, and we've already seen that from Elizabeth Warren and company on the Fed to, like, why didn't you reduce rates already? Elizabeth Warren cries. All right. So we know that every time that rates are reduced, this deflates the dollar, makes the dollar weaker. It's really a hidden tax, and the hidden tax is the deflation of the dollar. To deflate the dollar, you have to decrease the interest rates, right? That makes dumb money more available to more people. But this reduces greatly the buying power of the dollar. The market realizes this, and then the market goes up, right? It goes up, 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 because it's trying to place in that value on current shares and current valuation, etc., etc. So those that are in power may put a little bit of torque, may put a little bit of pressure on Jay Powell and company to reduce those rates before the election takes place. And this will make it appear the perception from the public and dumb money will be that, hey, these politicians aren't really as bad as everybody says they are, because look at the economy. The economy is still doing great, right? So that's exactly what I anticipate to happen. Therefore, I say all this because I want you to know I don't think I know a recession and possibly the big D could be on the way. I don't think it's time yet for that. We're just seeing an overreaction right now by the market, thinking that this could be it. That's my view currently. That could change, and I'm going to show you why that's my view currently. All right, first let's just jump back into our charts here. This is the VIX. As I said, we were up over 135%, maybe more than that. I'm not sure what it was. It just like we've been in this sideways channel for over a year. The VIX has been at all-time lows, and now we've just spiked, gone through the roof. I believe this is just an indication of how much the market has overreacted. But the dollar is placing in that future Fed rate drop. All right. And as I explained many videos ago, I expected us to drop and come down to this pink line. Look at this, guys. We're almost there already. I said I didn't think it was going to be as quick as we've already done, but the market likes to play the game ahead of everybody else. They're smart with that. So look at this. We're almost to that pink line yet. I think the dollar still will come down even further and complete this M pattern that you see here. So with the dollar coming down and the VIX up, what do you think the market is going to do, right? So usually if the dollar is up and the VIX is up, the market will be down. If the dollar is down and the VIX is down, the market will be up. In this case, the VIX is up and the dollar is down. So we're going to have one of these is going to take over. Right now it's the VIX because of the massive spike that you saw. That spike is bigger than the dollar drop, right? So the market still, in fact, we started at almost 4% down today, and it is steadily moving back up. All right, but take a look at this, guys. We have not even hit this 200-day moving average on the S&P 500 or the SPY. This is the SPY. We're using this to track our stocks so that we can see how this price action spills over into the crypto space. And so really, like we haven't even come down and touched the 200-day moving average. So it's quite a ridiculous reaction in my opinion. And I'm going to pause the video here because I'm going to get the weekly chart ready, and we're going to take a look at what I see on the weekly, why I think it is possible we could go even higher than our previous high. Many of you guys know, and I'll just recap here. Okay, I've been calling for this 570 target for 2 years now. All right, and I let me zoom out here so you see why. All right, so we have two things going on. We have an Elliott wave pattern. Wave number one, drop. Number two, wave number three is larger than wave number one, drop. That was wave number four. Wave number five can be even longer and more extended than wave number three. All right, so far we are not, that length of the wave is probably about the same as three, and so it could be the end. But the other thing that I saw that helped me, because I'm not an Elliott wave technician, is this inverse head and shoulders pattern. And to get our target, I took the measurement of the head to the neckline and got a target of 570. All right, we were almost there a couple weeks ago. You guys know I put out a post to all of my followers at my site here and said I sold half of my investments in the stock market and went to cash at 560. Turned out to be a good choice. But then I've spotted something recently on the weekly chart, which makes me believe we could go even higher. And so I'm taking that bet because we haven't even reached this 200-day moving average. I'm taking that bet. I'm moving all of my cash back into assets And I'm going to show you where I think we potentially could go. Now, I will change my mind very quickly if we drop below that 200-day moving average, specifically if we drop below 480. That's a big level for me. But for now, I'm moving all back into assets again, and I've got a new target here that I've projected. All right, so here is the weekly chart that I posted on my website, and I spotted this cup and handle pattern on the weekly. The neckline is right here. All right, so due to this cup and handle pattern on the weekly, I took the measurement of the bottom of the cup to the neckline, and that gave us where we potentially could go, 650 to 700 on the SPY. And right now, I'm still under the persuasion that we could still go there. Well, you say, Stu, doesn't this candle, this drop below the neckline, invalidate that pattern? No, not yet. We have to have confirmation on whatever chart we're looking at, correct? So at the end of this week, if we close below that neckline, that could be confirmation if it's a statement. All right, if we close below the neckline but we're right up here at the neckline, then I'd want to wait for another week, so possibly 2 weeks before we get confirmation that this neckline, this cup and handle pattern that I've drawn here, is invalidated. And we really need to see confirmation on, serious confirmation on both this candle and the next one. And if we get good enough confirmation on this candle, I may just consider it invalidated and readjust my portfolio in my stocks again and move half back into cash. And then wait a little bit longer for the next week to see what the next week does. But I'm not by any means freaking out just yet. And I know what the big players like to do, especially the politicians. They really like to manipulate the, I want to say a bad word here, out of this market, but this show is for kids, so I'm not going to say that. They like to do everything to their advantage. So I'm not freaking out yet. I still think that we could, and the possibility still exists, that we go to 650, 700 before all said and done. It remains to be seen. Right now we're on a downtrend, and we have to wait a couple weeks to see how these candles play out. All right, so now over to the Bitcoin. And I'm going to spend the rest of this time on this video talking about Bitcoin and what it means for the crypto space. Bitcoin, of course, is the lead dog in our crypto space. I want to show you a couple things just for review here. Let me put us back in auto mode so we can zoom in. And you can see we have an inverse head and shoulders pattern going on Bitcoin as well. The target of which is our a resistance point, end of year target, around 88,000, 88, 90,000. Still think we could go there. All right. And here's why. We broke this neckline here, this blue line, and came into this basically a bull flag. But remember, I said we did not retest this neckline at 48,415. I was expecting this retest sooner. All right. So I kind of ruled it out at one point, thinking, well, we're just going to make this bull flag and then we'll proceed up. That was the probability that existed at the time. You'll remember last video and a couple of previous posts, I said, okay, we're going back up, testing the top of this channel. Probably will come down and use either this black multi-year as support or this purple ascending as support and go back up and break through the top. That did not happen. The other possibility I drew out both in the video and many posts, I said unlikely but possible, was a break down below this purple trend line. That obviously has occurred. Not only has it occurred, but we broke down below this bull channel and came all the way down. You can actually consider this a retest. Let me get out an arrow here so as I'm speaking you can see where I'm talking about. This is the retest of the neckline. You could actually consider that a retest, though I do think throughout the remainder of this week it is possible we continue to sell down until we really test that 48,415 and confirm that it has been retested. So I still think that's the greater probability. I don't think that we're just going to bounce here and go back into that channel, but it's on its way. We have wicked down here, and so that definitely could happen. All right. But we'll have to see how this candle today closes. If it closes below this channel, then that means we are going to still drop down and really give a good retest of that 48,415. And so we are in the unlikely but possible stage of Bitcoin. And really, maybe I should start to expect the unlikely because of the world we live in and because of all the chaos that's going on. I mean, every day the news will blow your mind with some other absurdity, stupidity. It doesn't even make sense. And that's because we have these low-level conscious politicians, really mostly sociopaths running this country into the ground. And I'm using that for all politicians, right? Most politicians, I would say. There's a few that have a level head. I don't know how you could in this environment, but that is the case. There are a few that somehow have managed not to be NPCs and have managed to think for themselves and have a brain on their shoulders. The rest of them, I don't know what's going on. We have I don't even think stupidity of this level is possible. And so I say mass psyop because I think somehow, have you ever watched a hypnotist do his thing? And I'm going to zoom back out here because if you watch a hypnotist, they say what 40% of those people are able to be persuaded by the hypnotist, and the hypnotist can really make them do whatever they want. The other 60% are not persuaded, but out of those 60%, 40% will not be hypnotized, 20% can be persuaded. All right, so you have this dichotomy here where the 40% that are not hypnotized can persuade the 20%, or you can have the 40% that are hypnotized persuade the 20%. And honestly, that is one of my current working theories in this universe we live, that we have some sort of mass psychosis going on, created by high three-letter agencies. Some people call it the deep state. I don't know. It only makes sense to me because to have this amount of stupidity just blows my mind. I don't think it's possible. It's not incompetence. They could just be straight up NPCs, just brainwashed to the level that the media can just say whatever they want almost, and many people will actually believe that. All right, so that's my current working theory, and I say all that because I want you to understand that we need to start considering that the most unlikely scenario is maybe more of a probability than the least likely, and in this case, that has been proven to be true. All right, so now it looks like Bitcoin wants to go back up into this channel, but will it? We have the remainder of this day to see where our candle closes. If it closes back in the channel, most likely scenario is we bounce from the bottom of this channel and continue our way up. If we close below this channel bottom, then we probably will incur further selling throughout the remainder of the week, come back down here and retest our neckline again, this time really touching that 48,400 before we bounce and continue. Anyways, I want to explain all that to you guys and just level with you so that you understand where we're at, what's going on, and why it's just so hard to predict these prices lately. It's hard to predict because of what is going on geopolitically and throughout the world and throughout U.S. politics and politics everywhere else. It's just a crazy world. So when we have these multiple scenarios, I suppose it's best to consider the unlikely most probable than what past history tells us. Hopefully, this video helps you, leaves you, alleviates some concern, and we'll talk to you in a future video. Peace, y'all.